What is up, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages? You got CoTabb here, and I noticed recently that my channel's anniversary had come up a little bit ago, about a month ago actually. So I am going to do something special for you guys in honor of my channel's 1-year anniversary. And what that is I'm going to be doing a list of my personal top 10 favorite games. Now, a few things before this video gets underway. Number one, this is my personal opinion. If you don't like it, you can go suck a dick, because I don't care. If you don't like what I think about a game, then leave your thoughts to yourself. Number two, also, I'm only doing one game per franchise. I mean, come on, let's be completely honest. We don't want a top 10 list of all Zelda, Metal Gear Solid, and Pokemon games now, do we? Also, I do have a little bit of a stuffy nose, so if you hear me sniffle or if I sound a bit weird, then that is why. And I don't have any gameplay footage because I am lazy, so we're just doing pictures. So, without further ado, let's get right on into this. Alright guys, number 10 is a game that not a lot of people know about anymore. It is called Quake 3. There's several different variations of it. There was Quake 3, there was Quake Team Arena, there was a few other ones I can't think of off the top of my head, but pretty much they are the same game, just some of them, Quake Team Arena is based more around the multiplayer and whatnot, but Quake 3 was a phenomenal game. And I really wish that whoever the maker was of it, I can't think off the top of my head, would remake it and remaster it in HD, because it was a really fun game, really fast-paced multiplayer, small maps, all kinds of different guns. You start off with a gauntlet, which is like a little razor thing on your hand, and a machine gun, and the machine gun is really weak. It runs out of ammo really fast, so if you run out of ammo, then you resort to your melee weapon, the gauntlet, and pretty much you just run around and you pick up power weapons, and then you just blast people up. There's lots of blood, lots of gore, really fast paced. You got jumps, you have different kinds of power-ups. Some of them make you fly, some of them make you invincible, some of them make you do quad damage. The game is just insane. There's a ton of different characters you could pick from. The weapon variety is crazy. Some weapons are better in some situations than others. For example, for close range stuff, you might want to use something along the lines of like a shotgun or even a plasma gun. But then for something long distance, you can use like the railgun or like the rocket launcher. So the game is just really fun, really just a ton of fun to play with people. Even if you're not winning, you're still going to have a good time, just because of how fast-paced and how rewarding it is for when you get a kill in a one-on-one engagement. So that is why Quake 3 is number 10 on this list. Number 9 is Fallout 3. Now, I played Fallout 3 and I played Fallout New Vegas. I have not played any of the other ones, but Fallout 3 was way better than New Vegas, in my personal opinion. There was just so much stuff to do, so many different quests, so many different ways that you can make the game happen. Not to mention, there's not really that many glitches, not really that many bugs. The game was very well put together, a ton of different landscapes too. You could have like things like in the city, along a river, and then go to like a wasteland, almost like in the middle of a desert, to like plains, mountains. The world was just so big and vast, and there was so much to do, so much exploring, quests, all kinds of different stuff. Not to mention there was several different ways that you can make your character into whatever you want. You can have your character be melee, whether that's with a melee weapon or unarmed weapons. You could do guns, energy guns, big guns, whatever you want. There's tons of different perks if you want to specialize in a specific type of gun, like say you like shotguns. There's different perks that reward you for using shotguns. The game is just so vast and so broad, and I feel like that's what a lot of video games lack, is the broadness. A lot of games are very linear, very straightforward, don't reward you for exploring. And that's what I love about Fallout. The Fallout franchise as a whole is just the rewards you for exploring, and it's just so much fun to walk around and see all the different things, all the different peoples, make connections with the different NPCs, and just kick some ass. Number 8 on this list is kind of a weird relationship I have with this game. I love Gears of War 3. Absolutely love it. The multiplayer, the single player, everything about it was great. It's just, it sucked because it died so quickly. The multiplayer was just so much fun. The weapon balance was right on the dot. Whenever there was a problem with the weapon balance, for example, people complained about the sawed-off shotgun being too overpowered, so they fixed it and made it almost not really that useful, to the point to where the Gnasher was better in almost every way, but yet there was still a certain niche that it filled on different maps if you were that type of player, so the sawed-off still kept a place, but it wasn't overpowered. And the multiplayer maps were godlike. That there's literally no bad maps. I mean, there's one or two maps where you play on it and you think, why is this part of the map here? But then you get put in certain situations, in different situations with engagements of different opponents, and you really understand that the developers really thought about how they made the game in the multiplayer. It's so balanced, so fun, and it rewards team play, and that's what I love about it. There are so many shooting games nowadays, first person, third person, whatever, that have multiplayer that just do not reward team play. For example, Call of Duty does not. Titanfall kind of does, but you can go off and do your own thing. Gears of War, if you are in a 2-on-1 engagement, no matter what, you will almost always lose. 99% of the time you will lose unless you have something like a boom shot, in which case you could still lose if someone just gets the jump on you. So Gears of War 3 was a great game. Also, the single player was phenomenal. The storyline throughout the trilogy was spot on. It tugged at your heartstrings at times and made you just want to fist pump in the air. The ending of Gears of War 3 was probably my favorite ending of all time. I've never had so much emotion from a game, so much happiness, sadness, joy, anger, everything. The whole ending and the whole game period just had so much emotion and so much feel. You could really tell that the developers really liked making the game. And that's why Gears of War 3 is where it is on this list. I just wish it didn't die so quickly. Now come on guys, you should have seen this coming. There's had to be a Pokemon game on this list. But you probably didn't expect it to be Pokemon Fire Red, of all things, and you probably expected it to be higher on the list. Everyone knows that my channel is prominently known for doing Pokemon stuff, competitive Pokemon battles. So you'd immediately think that either 4th, 5th, or 6th gen was my favorite, but no. I actually love Fire Red, and in fact I love 3rd gen as a whole. It's my favorite generation. I love the mechanics, I love the way that they put in hidden abilities. It's just a lot of fun. Even though there wasn't the physical special split with the moves, which made some Pokemon basically useless, cough cough Gyarados, it was still a very fun and enjoyable metagame in the competitive scene. Also, getting back to just Fire Red in general, to have a new twist on the old, on the first generation games it was amazing. I played the crap out of Pokemon Red as a kid. So having Pokemon Fire Red come out, having it in all new graphics, I could trade with my friends more easily. It was just a blast. You had a bunch more Pokemon to work with than the older one, and as well as there was a ton of after-game stuff to do. I remember as a kid, I would just explore everywhere, looking for every little bits and stuff, and it felt like I played that game for hours and just got so much done when in reality there was really not much to do left. But it's just the fact that there was so many different trainers to fight, so many different things to do, that you really didn't want to put it down. I ended up putting, I think, somewhere around think somewhere around 500 hours in just one save file, and I've restarted it several times since then. So that just goes to show you how much I really loved Pokemon Fire Red. Now, number 6 is Far Cry 3. This game was amazing. When it came out, I saw people uploading videos of it on Facebook or on YouTube, and seeing some of the stuff that it did. The game looks incredible. First off, the graphics are amazing. They're realistic, but there's also kind of a cartoony feel to it, so it's really colorful and really enjoyable to look at. There's a ton of stuff to do, and you're noticing a trend here in my in my top 10 list. I love having things to do, extra stuff to do. In this game, there is all kinds of stuff to do, from main storylines to side quests to collecting items to hunting to playing poker. There's just endless amounts of things to do. You're never bored for 1 minute in this game, and it's one of those games where you could put 60 hours into and then still keep playing and still have something to do. It's incredible. Far Cry 3 was it was just really good, really well put together. There was multiplayer, but the multiplayer really wasn't that good. I feel like if the multiplayer was better, then this game would probably be even higher up on the list. But the fact that the multiplayer is kind of lame, kind of sways it back a little bit. But oh my God, the DLC for this game, Blood Dragon. If you have Far Cry 3 and you have not played Blood Dragon, I don't know what you're doing with your life right now. You need to go on the Xbox Marketplace, the the PSN Marketplace, the Steam, whatever the heck console you played on. You need to get the Blood Dragon DLC. It is probably better than all of Far Cry 3 put together. But the only problem with it is it was a kind of a short DLC. It's probably, I think, only like 20, maybe like 15 to 20 hours, which really isn't that much. But other than that, it's pretty much a whole game, and with a separate storyline, and it is just so badass. The ending of Far Cry 3 was really good as well. I feel like it opened it up really well for a sequel, and if they do that in the future, we'll see. But we know that Far Cry 4 is on a different storyline, so wah wah. But Far Cry 3, a really good game. If you don't have it, pick it up. If you do have it, get Blood Dragon. If you have Blood Dragon, me and you are probably gonna get along. Number 5 on this list is Super Smash Bros. Melee. This game, ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, this game, there's almost nothing bad with Smash Bros. Melee. It's one of those games where you could just play it constantly and constantly and constantly and always have fun, even though there's no single player storyline, really. I mean, there is single player, but it's not like an engaging storyline. But that doesn't steer you away from playing it constantly. There's so much fun, so many different characters, and you can just fight and fight and fight in combos. The combos are insane. Getting onto the competitive side of things, people on my channel would know that I've played Smash Bros. Melee competitively for over a year now, and it has probably been one of the best experiences of my life. Going from the Pokemon competitive scene to the Smash Bros. Competitive scene, everyone in Smash Bros. Is nice, no matter what game you play. Whether it's 64, Melee, Brawl, Project M, it doesn't matter. If you play Smash, you're a friend. No, you're a family member, and that was really, really nice to see and get into, because playing Pokemon, you have a bunch of butthurt, salty people. You know, you beat them, and they're like, oh, you're dumb, you're gay, but in Smash Bros. You don't get that. If you beat someone, I mean absolutely cream them, they will stand up and they will shake your hand and they will laugh and have a good old time, and it's just such a blast. The combos, everything, the maneuverabilities, it's just out of this world what this game can do. It's so in-depth because there's no one set way to play it. You could play it any way that you want to. And even if you play it casually, it's still fun. I played it casually with my friends. We played with giant melee with bombs, and it was still fun. Even though I wasn't, wave dashing or anything like that, it was still just a great time. I really wish that they would have done something more with the single player mode, however. Yes, it is kind of hard with a fighting game to make a single player storyline, but I feel like if Melee did have that, it would probably be the best game to ever exist. Not to say that Melee isn't really the best game, but I'll give it this. It's the best fighting game of all time, and it's the best party game of all time. Number 4. Now, I really wanted to put this game higher on the list, but there's just one big problem with that. I have never actually physically myself played The Last of Us. I have watched it, I think, 3 or 4 times on YouTube, played through, and every time I enjoyed it. I could watch that game played with no commentary and still enjoy it. It's just a fantastic game. Put together well. It's colorful but yet creepy. The enemies are just crazy because you put the difficulty up and it actually feels like a harder game. Whereas in other games, if you turn the difficulty up, all they do is the enemies hit harder and have more health. In The Last of Us, if you turn the difficulty up and the enemies actually get smarter, they'll go into cover more, they will sneak around and try to flank you. Their vision and hearing will be enhanced, and that's real genuine difficulty. It's not some artificial thing where, instead of taking 4 bullets to the foot, they take, 10. That's not real difficulty, that's just annoying. But The Last of Us is a storyline. This storyline is amazing. It's absolutely phenomenal. Heart-tugging, adrenaline rushing. I mean, there's been times when just watching it, I'm not even playing it and my heart's racing and I'm jumping up, almost screaming at my computer at things that are happening. Not to mention the ending made me cry like a fucking baby, and there's been only 2 games that ever made me do that, which is this, The Last of Us, and Gears of War. Gears of War made me cry, I think twice. I think it was once in the first one, once in the third one, but I'm thinking if I'm getting that right, but I can't remember. Anyway, I digress. The Last of Us was just an amazing game. Emotions, graphics, the feel of it was great. The way that you can move Joel around, it feels fluid, it feels human-like. It doesn't feel like you're playing a game, it really feels like you're actually moving around a human. And that's what I really love about this game. And The Last of Us 2 had better come out, and better come out soon. Because, let me tell you, I cannot get enough of this game. Even though I've never actually played it, just watching it that's better than most games can say. Is that watching it is better than playing it. Last of Us, amazing game. Now, let's get into the top 3. Number 3 might come to a surprise to a lot of people because this video game franchise is more commonly known for its later games, but I actually love Saints Row 2. Everyone knows about Saints Row the 3rd, and everyone loves Saints Row 4 because of the superpowers and everything like that. But me personally, I honestly love Saints Row 2. I played it non-stop. The game was just amazing. It had everything that how do I put this? That a gang-related game could ever really need. You had different factions of enemies controlling different areas, a huge map, a ton of different cars, a ton of different airplanes, a ton of different boats. Everything about the game was just spot on. There's only a few things that I can think of that are wrong with this game. One of them being that it's old and the graphics are kind of bad, but that's just being nitpicky, and also the online is kind of shitty, but again, that's just being nitpicky. Everything else about the game is phenomenal, absolutely amazing, 10 out of 10, hands down the best gang-related game of all time. And people would say, yeah, but Saints Row is kind of unrealistic. Okay, there's a few things that video games have to be up to my standards as a great game. 1, good gameplay. 2, it feels right. 3, have decently good graphics for the time. Saints Row 2 had all of these, as well as so did, what Grand Theft Auto came out during that time. I can't remember. GTA 4 or 3? I can't remember. But when I play video games, I don't play video games to be realistic. If I wanted to do something realistic, I'd go out and do it myself in the real world. I don't want a racing game where I am forced to use certain things and have insane limitations and my car gets wrecked from touching a light post. I don't like that. If I wanted to do that, I'd go out and steal a Bugatti and do it myself. The point of a video game is to bring yourself into this alternate world where you can do anything you want to do. And Saints Row lets you do that because you can just stand in the middle of the city, fire off an RPG, and have a ton of cops, helicopters, dropping bombs, shooting you like crazy, and it just feels so fun. Whereas in GTA 5, if you stand in the middle of the city, shoot off a rocket launcher, or not GTA 5, GTA in general, you shoot off a rocket launcher in the middle of the city, you're gonna die in like 2 seconds flat. That's not fun. I want something where I can have fun and not be realistic. Realistic in video games should not... It should be there, but to a degree. And Saints Row 2 really it gets it dead spot on, where you're not invincible, but you're not entirely human either. And I love that about a game. I'm sorry if that little rant sounded confusing, but if you stop and think about what I'm trying to say, you'll understand as well. Saints Row 2, phenomenal game. Tons of stuff to do. Cutscenes are amazing. The way that you interact with the characters is awesome. Tons of cars to drive, tons of guns, tons of all kinds of just different stuff. You can buy different properties to upgrade your stuff. You can upgrade your properties, upgrade your cars, buy airplanes, fly airplanes. You can explore, find different things, collectibles, stuff like that. There's almost nothing bad about this game. Like I said, the two things that are wrong with it is just being nitpicky because it's an older game. Saints Row 2, so good. I could go on for hours talking about it, but let's move on to the next one. Number 2, The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. Such a great game. Epic quest. Link runs around, be's the hero of time, travels through time by picking up a sword. But it's not number 2 on this list. The Twilight Princess. Now that was an amazing game. Such a dark storyline. Ganondorf, the final fight was so fun. The way Zant was a character that you could not really interact with, but relate to and feel his pain. It's just, it's awesome. It's an amazing game. But it's still not my favorite Zelda game. Skyward Sword was garbage. We're not talking about that. The Wind Waker, on the other hand, is really number 2 on this list. The Wind Waker, I feel like, is just the best 3D Zelda game we've had to date. I don't know, I just came to this realization a couple minutes ago when I was thinking about it. I was thinking about, what Zelda game should I have on my list? Ocarina of Time is the clear standout. But I just had more fun playing The Wind Waker. Everything about The Wind Waker was really good. It's serious, but the cartoony graphics and everything makes it feel whimsical and fun, but then at the same time, it gets serious at the same time. You have those moments where you're like, oh shit, Link is gonna die, but then you have those moments where it's like, hey, look at me, I'm Link sailing around on a boat. It was just a great game. The graphics were amazing for the GameCube games at the time. The way that everything just looked so smooth, and it was a great game. The render distance was pretty good for a world that sized at that time period for the GameCube coming out. But the thing that I think really swayed my opinion for The Wind Waker being number 2 as opposed to Ocarina of Time is really this: Ganondorf. the final boss, and this is a spoiler alert for those of you who don't really want to know the storyline for the game, and more specifically the ending. Just skip ahead. I'll put a time on the screen to skip ahead too. But Ganondorf, he is the best he's ever been in the Wind Waker, and I can say that as a fact. He is not dynamic, he is just a rounded character where you can actually see Ganondorf's feelings and his intentions with why he wants to get the Triforce. And you really kind of feel for Ganondorf in a way, because for those of you who don't really realize what was going on in the Wind Waker, Ganondorf did not want the Triforce to rule over the Hyrule at the time where it's all flooded. He didn't want it to destroy Link. He didn't want it to take over, to destroy the planet or whatever. He wanted it to get Hyrule back. He wanted those luscious fields, the mountains, the Gerudo Valley, the Hyrule Field, Kuroki Village. He wanted all of that back. He woke up from whatever nap he was in the Sacred Realm and realized how crappy of a world Hyrule was, being underwater. That's all Ganondorf wanted, was he wanted it back. And that's the reason he wanted the Triforce. So in that kind of sense, you kind of feel bad, because you want the Hyrule back as well. You played Ocarina of Time, you've played A Link to the Past. It's just, you've experienced that old Hyrule and how great it can be, so you kind of really understand, like, yeah, I would want the old Hyrule back too. Now, what Ganondorf wants to do after he gets Hyrule back, now that's another discussion for another time. But the fact that Ganondorf's purposes and feelings were actually laid out there in the game it's just straight up phenomenal, because it's never had that before. The closest we've ever gotten was in the Twilight Princess, but that was more focused around how Zant felt, not Ganondorf, whereas Ganondorf is just kind of, I'm ruthless, I'm taking the power now, it's mine. That doesn't really explain why though, so the Wind Waker really kind of gave Ganondorf depth, and I really, really love that. The game was just a really fun experience, a very great experience, and I'm so glad that they made it in HD as well. If you haven't played the Wind Waker, do it right now. Stop watching this video and go play it. I'm just kidding. You need to see what's number one. So play afterwards. Ladies and gentlemen, now we get to the number one of CoTabb's favorite games. And first and foremost, I apologize for this video being so long, but the number one favorite game on this list, it was just hands down for me. There was no competition. I really did not have a doubt in my mind of what I thought my favorite game was. I knew from the start when I had the idea of making this video what my favorite game was. And that is, drumroll please, Metal Gear Solid 1 for the PlayStation. What else needs to be said? It's classic. It's timeless. You could go back and play it 20 years from now, 30 years from now, 100 years from now, and it'll still be the same Metal Gear Solid that it is today. I feel like the reason why Metal Gear Solid gets overlooked so much by the general gaming public is because it's just such an in-depth storyline that you really have to have an understanding of politics and how the world works to really understand what goes on. And even then, there's some parts where you just have to stop and go, what the hell just happened? For example, Metal Gear Solid 2, I'm still not quite entirely sure if that whole thing was real, or a dream, or what. But that's not to say that Metal Gear Solid 1 is my favorite by far out of all of them. Well, not by far. Metal Gear Solid 3 would be my second favorite, but Metal Gear Solid 1, phenomenal game. For its time, the gameplay was actually really good. The way that Snake could control, how you could aim your gun using the other control stick, switching in and out through the menus, and it pausing your game when you switch through the menus, is really seamless. Picking your items by using the L1 buttons, It was quick, it was easy, you could reload your gun really quickly. The gameplay was just spot on. But what's more importantly is the storyline, and that's what really wins over MGS for me. The storyline for Metal Gear Solid is insane. You never expect what happens. There's just so many turns and twists and conspiracies and governments and plots and taking over the world, and just it's mind-boggling how much stuff that they could put into one storyline. But Kojima is, I guess, a god among men in terms of video game making industry. There's nothing wrong with this game. I cannot find one bad thing to say about it. For PlayStation 1 time, the graphics were great. It ran on 30 FPS, which is better than a lot of PS1 games could say, to be honest. Like I said, gameplay, storyline, amazing. The way you can connect with the characters, the different characters, was great. They made it so that way you could really feel for the characters, and then sometimes they just turn it around and slap you right in the face and tug on your heartstrings. Everything about the game is amazing. I'm still trying to think of one negative thing to say, and it's just not there. There's nothing bad about this game. You could argue the difficulty, it's a little bit on the easy side, but that's just not right at all, because just turn your difficulty up, dude. There's nothing bad about this game. Metal Gear Solid 1, by far my favorite game of all time. I enjoyed playing it the several times that I have. I even enjoyed watching it on YouTube the several times that I have. If you have not played Metal Gear Solid, I really, really, really encourage you to do so. I think they have it on the PlayStation Vita as a download. Don't quote me on that, but it's a PS1 game. It's really not that hard to find. You have to play this game though. Metal Gear Solid 1 is just so good. I also will leave a link in the description for a playlist where you can watch a guy by the name of Excalizor's play through it, and he is just one of my favorite YouTubers, and the way he presents the game is really, really great. So if you have not played Metal Gear Solid 1, you don't have a PS1, and you don't have the money to buy Metal Gear Solid, click that link in the description and watch it, because it's the best game of all time, in my opinion. It hasn't sold that much, and it's not really that well known, but that's what makes it so good. Metal Gear Solid 1 and Saints Row 2 I could talk about for hours and hours and hours about how good they are. But that's all I gotta say. I gotta wrap this up. This is a long video. You guys have to play Metal Gear Solid. And the sequels to it, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, are amazing. Metal Gear Solid 4 was kind of a meh for me, but you have to play it. I'm telling you guys, you gotta go play it. Alright, that is it out of me, guys. I will leave the links in the description that I've said from my Twitter. You can also check there. And as well, at the end of this video, I will play a quick screen of some honorable mentions of games that made it, that almost made it on this list, but didn't because of either their franchise already had a game represented, or they just weren't good enough to cut the list. But thanks for watching, guys. I really hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching my videos for an entire year. I really do appreciate that. You guys are the best, and I will see you guys later.